If you already know the character's attributes and the terrain, you can jump straight to the next chapter. As you know, the combat system in the game is slightly different from the PCR. Each student has two attributes. One is his attack attribute. The other one is his defense attribute. Both attack and defense attributes have three colors. Attack attributes are the burst, mystic, and the penetration type. The defense attributes are light, heavy, and special armor. It looks very complicated. Actually, there is a very easy way to understand. Simply match the color and bring red units versus red armor, yellow units versus yellow armor, and blue units versus blue armor. For example, an explosive student has the red attack attribute. The light armor has the red defense attribute. As a result, the explosive student can hit it very hard. If you hit a monster with heavy armor with yellow HP, you will do normal damage to it. But when hitting blue mystic armor, it will have a negative status, which is a damage reduction. Because each map has its own monsters with their own attributes, then you have to match them up according to the monsters to make it easier to fight. There's another thing that's basic to the combat system. Every student has an affinity stat for each of the three environments in the game. That is urban, outdoor, and indoor. A character's affinity for a particular environment affects both the amount of damage they deal and the effectiveness of hiding behind cover in that environment. This means that certain characters are more suited to combat in certain environments, and vice versa. I will post a table here so you can understand how much the stats change in different affinities. The affinity attribute counter is not as high as the attach and defense attribute counter. Therefore, we usually ignore this. However, in the early stages of the campaign, it will still have a slight impact. For example, Chapter 7 is usually the hard chapter for most players. It's because, in the early stage of the global server, we have very limited indoor explosive students. Most explosive students are all red-faced when fighting indoor. The only indoor character that can be used is only Serika. The others are basically red-faced or yellow-faced. For the first 3 chapters, basically, all the chapters are light armor monsters. You just take a group of explosive students and rush through. Of course, there will appear some heavy armor monsters, but the heavy armor monsters in the early stages can be dealt with easily. We usually hit them hard with our explosive students. If you can't finish the battle in time or you can't get 3 stars, you can add 1 Pierce type student to your team. In chapters 3 and 4, they are mixed type monsters. This is actually quite annoying, because we only have 1 formation at this time. So then you have to mix your students with different types to deal with. After chapter 4, chapter 5 will become easier, because chapter 5 is all light armor again. So you can just take a bunch of explosive students and hit them. When you get to chapter 6, it's all heavy armor type monsters. But there is one thing to note in chapter 6. In chapter 6 you can have 2 teams to fight. For most players, you don't have that many students to use. You can take some explosive students and use them as your second team to supplement the output. From chapter 7, you're back to light armor enemies. But this is an indoor explosive map. So this map is generally more difficult in the early game. My advice to you is that increase your level a bit higher, then try it again. I think it's more comfortable to clear this chapter. My advice is to come back after level 35. Chapter 8 is easy, so I don't need to explain. Chapter 9 requires 2 teams. You just need 1 team of penetration and 1 team of burst. And then you can finish this chapter easily. In chapter 10 we will have mystic type monsters. You just use a team of mystic type and a team of explosive type to finish them off. That is it for today. If you still have problems with the campaign, join my Discord server. I will explain more specifically for you based on your team formation. Peace out.